Hello, my name is Will Hastings, and welcome to the Augmented Reality for the Industrial Enterprise session. This is the second Augmented Reality session that I've hosted. So just out of curiosity, was anyone in the session last year? Nope, okay, so this will be all new stuff for you guys. To start, I'll be giving a brief overview of the technology as well as some trends in industry and technology that relate to augmented reality. And that will be followed by speakers Sean from RealWear and Andrew from Upskill to talk about some applications and use cases. Unfortunately, Brian Shackelford, who was scheduled to be here today, was unable to make it. But if anyone is particularly interested in that use case, Sean may be able to talk to that a little bit during the Q&A panel. So what is augmented reality? Simply stated, augmented reality is technology associated with superimposing computer graphics onto the live view of the real world. Now, depending on the type of technology or hardware used to do that, you'll get different methods. So I've broken this down to 3 different methods. The first is the most ubiquitous case, and it's the monitor-based augmented reality method. And so many of you are familiar with this, although you might not realize that you're experiencing an augmented reality technology when you're watching a football game on TV. So we have the live feed of the football game, and then overlaid on top of that is the digitally generated data, so the score, the time left, the various digital assets represented on the field provide context to the viewer to give them a deeper understanding of what's going on in the game. So the next type of augmented reality is called video see-through, and this is an application that you'll find on your smartphone or your tablet. And in this instance, a live feed of the user's immediate environment is captured via camera. It's fed through a digital augmentation system and then displayed on the device. And then the final type of augmented reality is called optical see-through. And what we have shown here is the Microsoft HoloLens is probably the most well-known type of this variety. Another example would be the Daiquiri helmet. And in this configuration, the user has a direct view of their environment through a lens. The lens is also used to reflect or redirect augmented reality from projected from within inside the device. So the image here is of one of the first augmented reality systems developed by the U.S. Air Force in the early 1990s. So the question is, if we were developing augmented reality 30 years ago, why are we talking about augmented reality as an application in industry today? And I think that's an important question to bring up because it helps to frame augmented reality with respect to other trends in industry and other technologies that are driving its adoption. And so here I have 4 points that I'd like to go through briefly that I think are important when we're looking at this. And so I'll touch on each one of them for the rest of my presentation. So the first is the explosion of data. So we have the IIoT, digital twin, but data isn't a new thing for companies. They're just starting to realize more and more how important it is to take that information, to analyze it, and then in the end provide that data where it needs to be sent to the appropriate person at the appropriate time. And there's a lot of talk about this convergence of IT, OT, and ET, but oftentimes the human element is left out. So I think this session is a good opportunity to talk about the human element and how that feeds into that convergence of information, in particular when we're talking about people in the field. And when we're talking about people in the field, obviously we're talking about mobile technology. And specifically, we think AR technology is best equipped for providing this type of information. And in fact, AR technology is widely available today. For the past few years, AR applications have been available on mobile devices. The example shown here is of the newest iPhone. It's a $1,200 device off the shelf, and the most used AR application is Snapchat. So I think we can find a better return on investment for that technology. It's also important to talk about machine learning when we're talking about augmented reality, specifically in reference to object recognition, speech and language recognition, gesture recognition. These are all technologies that some of the largest tech companies in the world are interested in. They understand that it's important to increase or improve upon the interaction between humans and machines. So if you think about it, in the history of digital computing, we've moved from punch cards to keyboards and a mouse. And so the type of technology that you see here is a similar, and I'd argue potentially more significant step change in the way people are interacting with the digital world. And they also happen to be great examples for how someone using an augmented reality product can interact with that product in a heads-up and hands-free way. And the last point I'd like to talk about is the changing workforce. With things like the smart factory and Industry 4.0, we're seeing an increase in automation. And with that increase in automation, we also see an increase in the value of skilled technicians. But at the same time, we're also seeing a lot of companies experience brain drain as their skilled veteran workforce begins to reach the age of retirement and become replaced by younger, less experienced millennials. And AR is a powerful tool in empowering these less experienced workers and enabling them to make the right decisions regardless of whether or not they've had a year on the job or 20 years. So with that, I'd like to introduce Sean Everett and Andrew Sagaya. They'll be talking more specifically about applications and use cases for AR technology. Thank you.